is up, Robot Wars, BattleBots, and Bugglebots fans alike? Hardcore Kid here for another episode of the Hardcore Podcast. It is Christmas time here on the east coast of America, and joining us for this freezing cold occasion, I have Otaku Nate.
I have done all of my... Next week is Christmas. I have done all of my Christmas shopping by getting my parents nothing for Christmas, because we're at the point now where we don't really need anything for Christmas. We have enough as is.
Get him a gift card.
Nah, that's what my grandma does. No, not my grandma. What am I saying? Oh yeah, that's what my aunt does.
Aunt Grandma. Good morning.
She's old enough to be a grandma.
Also joining us, who do we have joining us tonight, Nate?
Well, we are first joined by a guy who I am absolutely certain, given his robot, is an absolute madman, and he must be institutionalized for building something completely insane. You may have seen his robot in episode 2 of Bugglebots with Gear Down for What? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gareth Barnaby.
Hello. I would also like to point out it is also Christmas here in the UK, so we are also enjoying the festivities.
I thought the UK didn't celebrate Christmas.
No one told me this.
They celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Festivus.
It's a Festivus for the rest of us. And who's our other guest, Nate?
Well, our second guest is one I said that we would never have back on the podcast again, but by golly, they're back yet again to once again torment me
Yeah.
laugh uncontrollably for an untold amount of time. Ladies and gentlemen, hide your wheels. It's Reira Granger.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
It's Festivus miracle.
I'm here to devour all of your circular objects.
Well, thankfully I have my chewy, fruity wagon wheels here safe, so you can't catch them.
Damn it.
All right, I have a question, Reira.
Hello.
What is this thing with you and wheels?
Okay, so not even the worst line I said in that entire episode. Let's not discuss the fact I said we're going to explode all over them. But in the... I am somewhat of a figure within the shunt posting community, what with being a mod and being someone who's sort of a bit active, so I'm constantly present. So the second, of course, I say something on Bugglebots, they took it apart. And all I had to do was say one line in the Next Time trailer, and the memes flowed like a hearty wine. Hot damn, have I never seen so many fucking memes of a thing I have regretted saying.
I actually thought that you ate like the rim of a tire or something. Because for a second I thought, man, and I thought I was bad with chewing things.
So the joke was that I said as smack talk before even the competition started, that I'm on an all wheels diet because I was piloting the weapon for Jeremy's undercutter. So of course, undercutter eats wheels. I thought that would be funny. But apparently it wasn't just funny, it was meme legend. I regret life choices.
Yeah. Well, sometimes...
Hey, it could be worse. You could have Hey, it could have been worse. You could have been stupid like me and watched Guilty Crown.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a terrible anime that should be watched by nobody, but a lot of people like it because they have shit taste.
So we're also supposed to have Ralf, and he just got home, and he may be doing a run-in in a bit. But before I think while we give him time to join us, I'll interview the two guests we have now, and we'll start off with the Heat winner, which is Splodeyboi. Reira, I believe you're familiar with this particular machine.
I was going to ask, how did you become the weapons operator for this thing?
So I applied with my own robot Arcana, which I never actually finished in the end, due to the fact that it was a boring wedge bot that was completely boring and no one should build those.
Wedge.
Sorry, Nate. I love you.
Stop blowing holes in my ship.
But no, I didn't get on, and I messaged around saying, hey, if anyone needs assistance in the pits, I'd be more than happy to jump onto a team. And Jeremy snapped me up in an instant and said, absolutely, come be the weapons operator, bring a receiver and a transmitter, and let's do this. And admittedly, I hadn't really had experience with a spinner before. I'd had a hammer bot and a wedge bot.
So you've got this big Silent Spring-esque beast of a machine that you got to control and make sure it doesn't explode on you.
The first time we powered it up in the test box, and there's evidence of this as well, we didn't quite realize that the spinner was so low that it actually just about squeezes under the wall of the test box.
Oof.
Luckily, we didn't have the spinner on at the time.
Yikes.
But yeah, it's a terrifying machine. Jeremy is an amazing mad genius / scientist / anime antagonist. But no, so and now it inspired me to build a spinner myself. So hopefully by February, the devious ring spinner Ariadne should be ready for February UE. So that should be fun.
Where do you come up with the names?
So for Ariadne, for myself, Ariadne is the Greek mythological figure who solved the labyrinth by spinning string. So I studied Greek mythology. My first thought was spinner, spinning string. I could either go Arachne, the spider, or I could go Ariadne, the solver of the labyrinth. I don't like spiders, so
Oh dear.
Spiders make me scared.
Spiders and snakes. I don't like no spiders and snakes.
Spiders!
Basically me.
Punch them!
Whereas Splodeyboi, we never really got the origin story for it, but the only thing I do know is that the spelling changed several times because I offered to buy team t-shirts, and every time I went to go and buy them, Jeremy was like, oh, let me think about the spelling again. Is it going to be this way? Is it going to be that way? He settled on it. But yeah, I absolutely love this. This was a weird trip of becoming some sort of terrifying, like absolutely kayfabe wheel-eating awesomeness monster.
Well, we'll get into.
I've never quite had confidence like that.
And now you get to control this crazy little bot, and it's you did well. You won the episode, which
We did fantastically.
Yeah, and but we can't leave out the other competitors in this episode. We also have Gareth with this brushless insane creation known as Gear Down for What?
I think
Yeah.
Alistair put it best when he said that Gear Down for What was built by somebody who's an absolute nutter. So Gareth, are you a nutter?
It's not unfair. Yeah, so the whole point of Gear Down for What was, like, it wasn't really built as a robot. It was built as so I had this electronic controller, this motor controller from my PhD work. And I had some motors, and I thought, right, I'm just going to build a robot around it. So it was more like entering some electronics and motors with also some HDPE. But yeah, it was kind of built from the ground up from that kind of angle rather than really being a robot.
You built backwards to how most people do.
Yeah, that's the fun thing. That's the fun way to do it.
Like 90% of people who build robots go, this is the shape I want it to be, and this is the weapon, and now I need to find parts. You were like,
Yeah, no,
I have parts.
exactly.
How the hell do
Pretty
I
much.
use these?
But no, like, it was more like, this is the amount of brushless I want. How do I make a robot with it? It was that.
How much brushless is too much brushless, though?
I mean, I haven't found it yet.
Sky's
Like,
the
There's no
limit.
thing as too much
But I
brushless.
think
That doesn't
That
exist.
version. Hey!
Hey,
we
forgot
Ralf
we
has
just added
appeared.
Ralph
That's
to the
Ralph.
call.
The headset is working, yay!
Yay.
Our friendly neighborhood German has arrived. Tell Jonas I hate him for me.
Okay, I'll do.
Yeah, so we're just talking about each of the machines. We talked about Splodeyboi, and now we're talking about Gear Down for What, which is Gareth's brushless monstrosity. And so between the different variety of weapons, be it spinners, flippers, and whatever the heck Shark's Sartrekian's supposed to be, Why did you decide to go with an axe as a weapon?
Well, so I had this giant motor, which was so I used them in my research a lot. The particular motor I had on the X. So I wanted to do something with that motor, and there's only really two things you can do effectively with something that size, which is an axe or a flipper. And yeah, it was just easy to build an axe, so it became an axe.
Hey, and and it worked pretty well. Maybe a bit too well.
I'd say this is a front runner for our lightning round awards for best engineered.
Absolutely. Nope.
Yeah. So the actual like electronics in it worked really well. The trouble completely was the robot design. Like there were a lot of things with it. Like when you see the axe flips back, it actually makes the robot's front like lift up, like it hits the back of the robot and like wheelies it. There's like a lot of just like silly things like that in the design that just made it very, very difficult to actually be effective with. So it's like whilst it had the power, it didn't really have the sort of fine-tuned design to be very effective.
Yeah, but it's still, you put on a good show. You gave us hands down one of the best matches of the season so far against Snappy, and and also a big thank you to Joe Brown for giving us a really fun theme song to go along with it.
Oh yes,
the theme song that we can't use.
Yeah. He sent me the file, and it immediately got flagged by WMG. Bastards. Yeah, but definitely enjoyed seeing Gear Down for What, and hope to see more of it. It's in the Second Chance Rumble, and so we'll see. And now we can move on to Ralf Schneider making his big run-in at the very end. Perfect timing.
Can I just say this, Ralph? I'm glad that you always volunteer to be on our show, because whenever you're on, we don't have to scrounge around for guests.
Here
no problem.
Here we ended up with half the roster of the episode. If only we had Dave and Craig.
Yeah, Craig
was
couldn't make us.
Couldn't make it. Craig's on the Sam's podcast, and
we'll probably have Dave on for the bonus episode because I always want him as a guest.
Yes, I've listened to him on Sam's podcast. He's a great guy. But yeah, so Ralph, you competed with Angst last season, which was an axe, and this season you're competing with Phoenix. What can you tell us about Phoenix?
Phoenix is, simply said, a really scary vertical spinner. Like ridiculously scary. Bit of a glass cannon, not that much armor, but it certainly packs a punch.
And what made you decide to go from an axe to a spinner?
That was rather simple at the time. For a long time, I didn't think I could make it to Bugglebots time-wise. And in the end, some friends persuaded me the last few days to apply, and I actually found a way to go to Bugglebots. I arrived in the middle of the night in the hotel at like 2 or 3 a.m.
Wow.
So I've looked at the robots. Okay, Phoenix needs at least the forks, and Angst, yeah, it would also need some fixing, and ideally some magnets. That would require engineering, and the first test didn't work out. Okay, let's take Phoenix.
And
and as things go, a quick fix turned into a more or less a full rebuild.
Yeah, but overall, I think Phoenix was certainly impressive in this episode. The only problem was you had to fight Splodeyboi, and
I'm sorry about your robot, Ralph.
You're evil, Reira! Evil!
I mean, this was never a debatable fact. It's just, this is just canon in this universe. But I'm sorry about your robot.
I mean, the most damage were the forks.
I still have it on my necklace.
Oh, yes. God,
You're a real wrestling villain this episode, Reira. I like it.
Yeah,
I learned from the best.
Learn from the Ray Billings school of how to cut a promo. Yes. So yeah, we've talked about all your guys' machines. Nate, do you have any questions for anybody?
I'm just curious about what Ralph said. What do you mean it only caught fire twice?
Yeah, that was during testing before UVE bot brawl. The weapon EC had a lot of issues during spin up and cocked, and by some weird electrical gremlins that caused the capacitors of the drive EC to catch fire. And at first I didn't notice it was the drive EC, so I tried again, and then it caught on fire again. And what I didn't mention is that before Bugglebots during testing, it kind of exploded as well, like mechanically. Always tighten your all the screws.
So I guess you could say it was the real Splodeyboi.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, no, we
Phoenix
were
is.
Splodeyboi. He was the splodiest.
Oh boy. Well, Phoenix. When phoenixes die, they explode. So.
Yeah, and it slowly come back from the ashes.
Yes, and that's what you did in this heat. And good performance by Phoenix, making it to the heat final, and goes into the Rumble. But we've got 3 other machines we need to talk about in this heat. We can't leave them all.
Can
out.
I didn't get to do my introductions. Can I do my introductions, please?
Okay. Where are you from, Reira?
I am originally from Ukraine, but I'm here in Snodland, England, which is a real place, I swear.
Snotland.
Snodland. It has a D. Snodland.
Snodland.
It's a real place.
From Snodland, Splodeyboi.
Splodyboi.
Well, Splodeyboi from Birmingham itself, but
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. I've popped it in the chat for you to laugh at.
Hey, that's nothing. We have a town in New Jersey called Cheesequake.
I love it. I want to go.
I'm hungry. I want a cheesequake right now. I'm hungry. But
what happens? Is that what happens when several cows fall over?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing, Reira. Pennsylvania has 3 towns that are named, and I kid you not, Virginsville, Blue Ball, and Intercourse.
The Virginsville, the Chad town.
Yeah, good. Okay. And Gareth, where are you from?
I'm Bristol area in the UK.
Okay, all right. From Bristol.
You're down for what? Yeah.
Good. Settle down there, Lil Nate. Good lord.
Okay.
Somebody. Oh boy. And from Germany, Phoenix.
Phoenix. Vertical spinner.
Yeah, I think that covers it. And let's move on to Snappy before Nate goes really crazy.
Snappy. Troublesome truck.
Oh, poor Snappy.
Yeah, poor Craig.
And it's like
Black and green disappointment machine.
it's like, because looking at Snappy, it's definitely improved from last year. The flipper can self-right now.
Oh yeah.
He just had the worst possible draws in this episode. Between
it's funny. We have 2 former finalists that lost out in the first round.
You know what it is? It's the Series 7 curse. All the seeds are going out.
Wow. Well, except for K2.
Well, yeah. So the champion, there is no curse for champions unless you're Son of Oyachi or Apollo. But yeah, Snappy. Really, they had a good match, and then in the losers melee, the battery just got ejected, and that was it for him. It sucks. But you know what? That's the rules. If you spew out your battery, there's a spinner in there. Like there is a likely cause. It's going to be a Splodeyboi, and we don't want that to happen, do we? Yeah.
I mean, I want that to happen, and Jeremy wants that to happen, but that's kind of just comes with the name, so...
I think a match between Splodeyboi and Snappy would have been pretty good. Could have made some nice sparks. But,
it was the only robot in the heat that we looked at and went, we lose to that, no question. Like Gear Down, we had questions. Phoenix, we were like, this could go either way. Wyu, we did not know how to expect, but we looked at Snappy and just went, if we fight this thing, we lose.
Yeah. Ralf, what do you think of Snappy?
Oh, it's a great machine, yeah. Very well driven by Craig, and yeah, just a bit unlucky this time.
How about you, Gareth?
No, like it's the same. Like it's such a well-built robot. It's put so much sort of effort into it, like iterating it over the years. It's sort of getting to the final form kind of thing. But yeah, just like such an unlucky run.
Were you worried?
Like even,
or keep going.
I mean, like even like in my match, like if you were going to ask if I was worried, like yes, like Snappy is possibly like I think possibly the worst bot I could have gone against just because it's got that low wedge on the front. But like yeah, even in our match, it was the judges called like really close, and like that could have gone either way. Still, like it was just very unlucky for him.
Yeah, but I still think Snappy did give us a good show. Like even going 0-2 in the main season, it still it did what it could, and we thank Craig for coming back and came up short, but sirens.
Brandon, what did you do?
What did I do? What did you do
on this episode?
That's probably my fault.
Oh dear.
got my window open.
Wee woo.
I'll go pop that closed.
Oh dear. All right. Yeah. So
There we go.
Yep. So yes, Snappy got a little unfortunate, but who knows? I hope to see it come back and do well. Maybe win the next Bugglebots if there is a next Bugglebots. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Nate, anything left to say about Snappy?
I'm sorry, but I will never get the image of it looking like one of the troublesome trucks from Thomas and Friends out of my head.
Yeah, but yeah. So we'll move on. We'll move on to the big spinny boy. Wayo.
Overhead spinner. Between it being called Wayo, a slogan used by Dutch people when they do stupid jackass sort of things, and the hat worn by Tim Bowens, I was so tempted to call it a Slav bot.
Slav bot.
I have issues with this.
Oh dear.
I have issues with this.
Not enough vodka involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then I realized it's from the Dutch people are not Slavs, so
no. I fun Slav.
Sorry, Tim, but we're not having you on anymore. I apologize.
Fun Slav fact here, but you could have used the wonderfully Russian word of gupnik there.
Oh, please, somebody name a combat robot that if it isn't taken.
I'm possibly naming a future robot Shapka, simply because the fact that the Cyrillic looks like the English word wanker. It means hat. It's so inoffensive.
Oh my. Yeah, Wayo, it's an interesting little bot.
I like it. I really like it. I thought this could have been a heat winner.
Yeah.
But then Splodeyboi had to happen.
I'm sorry.
How dare you? Yeah, it's surprisingly got a little bit of kick to it. I thought the teeth might have been a little small, but it did manage to do a little tiny bit of damage. So, but it's and apparently it took third at an event, at a recent event. I see it.
Marlow, the UK Beetle Championships.
So yeah, it's cool. Gareth, what do you think of Wayo?
I mean, I absolutely love it because it's got that giant brushless motor on the top of it. Like, you can't go wrong.
It's all about the brushless.
It doesn't really come across on camera either, but how like low profile that whole robot is. It's like insanely flat. But it is
It's
it's
a
absolutely
beau-
gorgeous.
It's a great design. I love it. I also love the color too, but maybe it's because I just like green things.
Mm.
One thing that bugs me is, what if it gets flipped upside down? Will it be able to self-right?
It doesn't look like
don't
it.
think so.
Unless it does the gimmick where it just hovers over the ground, just like
That's
Gundam's
not
wheels.
controlled movement though.
Nah, Ref Tim would not approve. Ralph, what do you think of Wayo?
Pure engineering porn. It's so nicely designed and built that it's just one of those robots you see and you start slowly drooling because it's so nicely made.
Now, it's not a girl. It's just a little remote-controlled frisbee gimmick.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you mean. Yeah, it really is a cool design. But now we must move on to the best robot in this heat, the Shark Satrakian.
Shark Satrakian. Shark! 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 Shark!
Shark, 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 shark.
Oh, where do I begin with this thing? When I saw this thing, I thought Ed Robinson had qualified, and I'd be like, "Yay, Ed Robinson!" And Bugglebots.
I will have to ask Ed Robinson what he thought of what he thinks of this robot, so that when we have Dave Laurie on, we can say that, hey, Ed Robinson had something nice to say about you.
Yeah, Dave Laurie, he's known for building jellyfish, which competed in Robot Wars. He's also known for having quite possibly the longest builder's database page ever. He's got so many bots, and it's awesome.
He holds the record for best names for his robots ever. Like, if you have an afternoon, go to his builder's database page, you will laugh your ass off.
Yeah. Now, as far as the shark goes, what was it supposed to do? Because
it was supposed to be like a lifter thingy.
The note board said the weapon is a thwacker, which I guess it was referring to the tail.
Yeah, I think so.
And Sarah mentions that it has 4 articulately driven weapons, and I'm like, 4? Where is there 4? All I see is the tail and the jaw.
The front is interchangeable, that's why.
Okay. And apparently I'm looking at it and I'm seeing those wheels. It's 6-wheel driven. They look like ant weight wheels.
You want to know what it reminds me of design-wise?
What?
And this is going to be a horrible comparison. Fatal Traction.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, like, just the 6-wheel, the flimsy 6 wheels and the guards.
And the completely useless spinners. But you know what? I'm glad that Dave decided to come out of. Would you say did he retire? Didn't he say he was done after
I think
Jellyfish?
he kind of went on a hiatus of sorts.
And he made this was his big comeback. And I will say this: he did put on a show, that's for certain. And even if it's not the most powerful bot, having a show bot that entertains the crowd, it was great to watch. Reira, what do you think of the shark?
I mean, as someone who's part of a joke bot team for BattleBots, as that's essentially what Nelly is, I have nothing but love for other joke bots, and it's the attitude and the putting it back together that just made me love it so much. The one moment that just stood out to me was when they asked for the loser's melee to keep going, and multi-shark Drifto on their side.
Oh, that was glorious.
It was beautiful. I absolutely love both team members for Shark. Shout out to both Dave Laurie and James. They are both wonderful humans, and sharing a pit space with them as well as all of the other guys in this heat. I couldn't have wanted a better heat for my first major competition.
Yeah.
Everyone was so lovely.
Gareth, what do you think of the shark, and were you afraid of having to fight the shark?
Terrified. You just look at it. Look at it. So the thing you haven't realised, right? So you remember you said 4 weapons. Like those aren't wheel guards on the side. Those are actual articulated arms. They can twist at the front.
Really?
Like, they got motors on. Yes.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. So yeah, like now you know that you can see why people would be terrified, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's such it's very Dave. I love it.
Yes.
Only Dave would create something this insane.
Ralph, what do you think of Shark Satrakian?
I love it. It's, as Dave said, it's what a 10-year-old would describe as perfect robot. That's it. We sometimes need those robots. I think we need more of them.
Yes. We need more. We need more sharks. We need more Sharkoprions. We need more Snookums.
As I said, I live for the goofy side of robot combat. Like, I'll keep talking about this guy, but there's this guy in the Northeast robot scene called Mike.
Yes.
And, like, he builds these deliberately crap robots out of various household things. Like, he built a robot out of a microwave. He built one out of a printer. Did he build the dilapidated boat?
I don't remember. I wouldn't call the microwave crap. That thing is a nightmare to push off. It's
And
overpowered.
he also built my favorite crap robot of all time, Pizza Party.
Yes.
It's a robot that was built inside of a pizza box.
And it was and it got a win. It's glorious.
It's a pizza box lined with duct tape with all of its components in a Tupperware container.
It's
and
awesome.
And the lid is held in place with just like a twist tie.
Yeah, I definitely look it up. It's Pizza Party Beetleweight. I have the video on my
Pizza Party versus Slugger.
Slugger. Yeah. You can hear Nate cackling the entire time. Yeah, but back to the things that matter. Bugglebots 2. We've talked about the bots. Let's talk about the matches. And,
let's talk about the intro first.
Oh yes, the intro. So here's the story. Here's the story about the intro. Other Nate Franklin, he actually came up with the idea. Originally, Bob was going to enter the room and everyone was going to cheer, and then Nate suggested, how about just have Dave cheer and everybody just sits there doing nothing? And there you go. That's the intro. Although that was cool. What did confuse me is what the heck Craig and some of the other guys were doing in the hallway. What was that about?
It's blocking or Foley work or what have you, because it's not uncommon for like a sitcom to have guys in the background just saying peas and carrots. Believe me, as somebody who's done theater, I know.
And I'm with Central Casting, so I know all about the blocking. So
hey, can I just say that my mom put over Bob Big Time as a stick man?
Yeah, he's not that skinny, is he?
No, you know, like the mean Gene Okerlund of the show.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's definitely an entertaining host. I don't need to see him naked ever again. But
oh God, we'll talk about that when we get him on.
Oh, I don't think he wants to talk about that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but yep, the intro, and then we'll talk about the match. The first match is Phoenix versus Splodeyboi. It was short, and that's actually a theme. Oh, there goes my phone. That's actually a theme for the episode. Is that a lot of the matches were very short, but they did have some good hits, and I did in the battle of vertical versus horizontal. I thought both you guys put on a good performance as best you could.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic fight.
Reira, were you worried going against Phoenix?
Yes, but believe it or not, the uber confident Reira that you see there is sort of just whatever came out of my mouth when I was in front of the camera. When we were actually in the at the pit tables, I'm sure, I don't know, Ralf even remembers the amount of times that we came over and measured where we'd hit on your forks and like, oh, where's the collision point going to be? And Jeremy was actually the cool and confident one back in the pits.
Yeah, I believe I also had it a few times over to you to check if I could go, if my drum would hit your disc and if it would be low enough and some stuff like that.
Mm.
And of course, that is where the beautiful rivalry between me and Jonas started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the match, the exchange hits, and then Phoenix got flipped upside down and couldn't self-right. Ralph, what happened?
Yeah, the issue were the forks. Initially, I planned going without the forks at all, but during testing, I figured out that the gyro forces while turning would push the drum into the floor and I could possibly flip myself over. So I panicked and went with the short forks. And after a few hits, they got bent into the drum and it was mechanically jammed.
Oof.
And you ended up doing the thing.
Yeah.
Gotta love
Kinda.
it when a robot does the thing.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also very frustrating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but Splodeyboi explodes into the second round, and Reira, I believe you got a piece of Phoenix?
I did indeed. I got a bent fork, which the moment I realized had a hole in it, I was like, that's going on my necklace. And like the cogs all put into place in my head, and I went, oh shit, Skull's necklace.
Awesome.
And I've been doing it since. So I've done loads of events since. And until that episode aired, every time someone asked, like, oh, when did you start doing that? I have to go, I can't tell you. And people, oh, what's that part? And like, so later on in the episode, I get an ESC from Wyo. And every time someone asks, oh, that's a speed controller. Who'd you win that off? And I have to be like, no. No.
No spoilers, darling.
Well, I couldn't even say spoilers because then they'd know I'd got it from fucking Bugglebots.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'd just be like, I ain't telling you.
Yeah.
So to anyone who I upset at previous events from being quote unquote rude, I'm so sorry. The NDA is cruel.
Yeah.
Especially when Sarah's your captain as well. Like, she knows where I live.
Oh, dear. So Splodeyboi gets the win and moves on to the second round. And now we get the best match of the episode, and for me, best match of the season so far. Snappy versus Gear Down for What?
This was a clinic.
I love this. Gareth, did you think you had a chance against Snappy?
For sure. Like it's like a difficult match to call because we're both kind of almost the same kind of idea. Really, we're both about trying to control the other robot around a bit. So it was going to be kind of a match of who gets under who gets around the other one, and if anyone can actually push the other one into the pit or not. In the end, no. It was just chaos.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was very fun chaos.
And so the match ended up going to a judge's decision, and I like what they did here because, people get very salty about judges' decisions, saying, "Oh, you were robbed. How could they get the win here, Cherub?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but here they had Bob go across to the judges' board and interviewed all the judges. Started off with Anita, and Anita gave her explanation as to why. I believe she gave it to Snappy. Based on
she did, yeah.
Snappy was more controlled, and then Ian bought right. He gave it to Gear Down for What, and then last but not least, it came down to the Demon Kane, and all he said was "Gear Down for What," and
With perfect rhythm and a beautiful little head nod.
perfect. Yeah. So yeah, I like that little touch with that, and. Yeah, definitely a fun match, and anything to say about it? Anybody got a comment?
I gotta say it was the best fight of the episode. Best fight of the series so far. Maybe one of the greatest Bugglebots fights of all time. I don't know, but it's a perfect example of a robot that is out of control versus a robot that is perfectly in control, but neither robot giving an inch.
Like,
I think my comment would be like, I don't know if either of the other two here have done UK ant weights, or if either of you guys have either, because of course it's fairy weights for you over there.
yeah, it's fairy.
Yeah.
They are so fast.
Yes.
Like holy fuck, are they fast? The fights last like 20 seconds. It felt like one of those fights until we realized that they were calling time. And I think a lot of the audience went, hang on, that can't be over. It's only just started, surely. I would pay money to watch more of that fight. Honestly,
Yes.
like Gareth, you've built a machine that by all intents and purposes shouldn't exist. It breaks all laws of physics, but it's beautiful.
Mm.
Thank you. I'm sorry, like the next version of it's so much better controlled, so it's not going to be so fun anymore.
Yeah.
No!
Well, sometimes there's such a thing as too fast. Remember Shumi?
Oh no, the new one's actually faster.
Oh, whoa!
Oh, wow.
What is it?
Oh my
One-
god, I
The
can't
one
wait
in
to see that
Bugglebots
thing in
was
action.
and the one in Bugglebots was 30 mile an hour. New one's 40.
Dear Lord, that's demolisher speed right there. Wow, I can't wait to see Gear Down for What 2. And
Oh boy.
yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Anything left to say about the match? No.
Nah, it's just I think it should be watched by everybody. It's a
It
great
must.
match with some good back and forth action.
Yes, and
It's
just
a masterclass.
It's beautiful. And then we must talk about Wayo versus Shark Satrakian.
And it's here that we get the John Reed Good Hit of the Night award.
And I like because I think it was Suv or somebody said that the shark got stuck on the floor. I watched the vetch. I don't even think it got stuck on the floor. I think the shark got stuck on itself. It was just.
Hey, I can see that one of the prongs got in one of the creases, so we have Floorgate to thank for this match.
Yeah. And then Wayo just came in and just completely just annihilated everything. It was just all the wheels flew off, the sidearm flew off. It was glorious.
Oh my god.
Oh. Just what else can you say about this match? It wasn't a match. It was what's
An
a
execution.
good word? An execution.
It was pretty much a dismemberment.
Remember in Jaws the Revenge when the shark got rammed and it exploded? That was this. What? I don't know why the shark exploded in that movie, but here it made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything left to say?
So many wheels.
So many wheels. Were you able to grab any, Reira?
The same story I told on the Shuntcast. Production pulled me aside and said, look, we know you eat wheels. You'll clear that arena faster than anyone. Get on in.
I think this is actually an important point though, because like has Wayo actually eaten more wheels than Splodeyboi now?
You realise,
'Cause that was
Splodeyboi,
like-
I don't think we
That was
ate a
4 wheels
single
in one
fucking wheel.
fight.
I
Yeah, I'm
don't-
not sure you got. I don't think you got any, or maybe one small hit.
I don't think we got any wheels.
I was
Like
disappointed.
that's the irony of this meme, because everyone took this meme and turned it into the Rara Eats Wheels thing, and I'm sat there
Yeah.
like, they're gonna be sorely disappointed when I don't eat a single fucking one.
Hey, Brandon's Brandon's got a piece of wheel from Raging Scotsman, and I'm not talking about Suv.
Okay. Yeah, I got a trophy when I went to Robo Games, and when Raging Scotsman fought Last Rites and got all its wheels ripped off, I managed to grab a piece, and it's been sitting there for I don't know 4 years now. It's aged quite a bit. I'm not sure how editable it is now, but don't worry.
I think my favorite, I do actually have one wheel trophy, and that's from Hello There, when I entirely piloted Splodeyboi, Marlow, for the podcast Rumble.
Mhm.
And yeah, I ate some wheels that time.
Yummy.
That was fun.
Yes. So, yeah, that covers the first rounds. Then we get the losers melee, and poor Snappy.
Yes, poor Snappy.
And it frustrates me because having to decide between Phoenix, Snappy, and the Shark, I want all of them to win. I mean, okay, the Shark isn't going to win. Unless some miracle happens. And but Snappy, I thought maybe could have had a chance, but Phoenix was just low enough to get right underneath the flipper and rip the battery right out. But Ralph, going into the losers melee, what'd you think going up against Snappy and the Shark?
Yeah, I was actually rather confident because I could run the long forks. With those, it drives much better than with the short ones. Did a spin-up test in the test box and was working really well. And yeah, I was confident to be able to get underneath Snappy, and it also happened. And at one moment, he pinned me against the wall. I just spun up to pretty much full speed, maybe a little less because of belt slip, and luckily that hit ejected the light bulb. Well, not luckily. I would have preferred to have longer fights.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, but it's the rules. I mean, they showed the clip from the other event where I forget the name of it, but the battery got hit and exploded.
That was Bot Brawl.
Yeah.
At the big...
Dreadbin, my boy.
Oh.
That was
I
so
am
fun
glad
fact.
that
That
we
was
got to see some footage from another robot event.
Yeah.
part of my rejected Wedgebot for Bugglebots was slapped onto the front of Dreadbin during that fight. So Arcana was technically on Bugglebots.
Yeah, you got to send pictures of your bots and show us what it looks like, because not every wedge is the same, unless of course it's a D2 kit.
It's not a D2 kit. It was a very wide wedge. Sadly, it never actually got finished because, like I said, as soon as I got rejected from Bugglebots, I was like, oh, I do not have to buy the big expensive piece of metal now. And then after Bugglebots, I started focusing on building my ring spinner, which is almost finished. So
nice.
Which I'm also waiting for the giant bits of metal for because,
Yeah. So
Hardox is expensive.
Yeah, I'm putting Hardox into a beetle weight? Or is it a heavier?
Oh, yes.
Good lord. But
I think it's 800 grams of Hardox
Wow.
as the spinner.
It's like Vayu, something like that.
It's kind of like Wayu if Wayu was an undercutter.
Wow.
I'll if you haven't seen the pictures of it, it's on my team page, which is Transcendent Robotics.
All right, and I'll post a link into the description of the video, and you can check out the Reira's team page. Check out any kind of crazy designs, and see if she has any wheels saved.
I've always got wheels aside. How else am I meant to snack?
Yeah. So Snappy got knocked out. Match was restarted. The Shark tried. it tried, but but Phoenix knocked it out, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. Again, it was short, but it was definitely fun. So, which leads us to the semifinals of the Heat. What was the first match? I don't even remember now.
I believe it was Phoenix versus Gear Down for What?
The battle of
Gareth.
HDP,
take us through this one.
HDPE monsters.
Yeah, that didn't go so well for me, this one.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. It was just, it was the link for me. I sort of failed my initial tactic to kind of sneak around behind them. And in doing so, I kind of got my fork stuck in the wall a bit.
Oof.
And it sort of went downhill from there for me, really.
Yeah. It's a shame, but just one nice hit and you take out the link. But yeah. Ralph, were you nervous going in against Geared Down for What?
Well, I obviously knew his drive is way better than mine. At the time, I ran those standard brushed motors, and I really don't like how they drive. Phoenix is going brushless for the future. So I knew I could just point my front at him. That's realistically the only option I got. And in the end, it worked.
Yeah.
Although rewatching the fight, it was kind of like I got one hit and then he fell onto the spinner a bit. So there was definitely a bit of luck involved to get the link out.
Yeah.
But that hit also broke one of his drive motors, I believe.
Oh wow. Yikes.
Yeah, so I lost a wheel.
You lost a wheel, and then Reira got a hold of it. But
Of course I did.
But it was a short match. But so gear down for what does go into the second chance Rumble. So we'll hope to see you do well in that. And Phoenix goes through to the Heat final, and the second of the second round semifinals was Splodeyboi versus Wayo, spinner versus spinner, and it seemed like a pretty easy win for Splodeyboi, I think.
This was one of the better fights of the evening, mostly because it wasn't so short.
It went on a little bit longer, but
yeah,
got some nice exchanges in, and then Wahoo ditto spilled its Wahoo all over the arena. No, it smoked and then just died.
I think the thing I'm happiest about this fight, is they managed to get my scream of spin at the beginning, which and of course the little dance walking into the arena, which was just chef's kiss, just mwah.
Yeah, I was thinking like watching those intros where they're just walking in. I'm like, okay, they're just walking in. Is it necessary? Turns out, yeah, it's very necessary.
I think I'm the only one so far who's done something with it, but I think some other people do. I can't remember off the top of my head. We'll have to wait and see.
And maybe other Nate will do a dance or something when he's going, and who knows?
Oh, he's so American. He'll salute or something. He's the American hero we deserve.
Absolutely. So Splodeyboi gets the KO. Reira, you get Wayo's ESC.
We thought it was the battery at first, so of course Wayo gets taken outside, and then we're sat opposite him in the pits, and finally he gets given Wayo back, and he goes, "Oh, it wasn't the battery. Oh, hey, here, Reira, have this." Basically.
Yep, and Wayo goes through to the since they went out, they also go into the second chance Rumble. Although apparently they don't have spares, so we don't know how well it might not even do all that well. Who knows? Like we'll have to find out and see. But yeah, but so we move on to the Heat final, which is a rematch from the first round. It's Phoenix versus Splodeyboi, and Ralf, did you have any change of tactics going into this match?
Yeah, that was on the second day, and I spent all the night thinking about how I could enter the match. And in the end, I went with only one fork, and I picked the side that couldn't get bent into the drum, so that won't be jammed up again. And even with only one fork, it drives much nicer than with those short ones. And after the damage I got from the first fight, I could run the drum a bit lower to the ground. So I was actually going in rather confident that I now have a better chance at defeating them. And yeah, I don't like belts.
Yeah, well,
Direct drive for the future.
Yeah. You know, direct
Good
drive.
on you, Ralf.
Like my bot uses direct drive, but I go through a lot of magnets on big hits. But yeah, they're like belts can be. You know what? I like belts better than chains. You know how some people use chain drive, and sometimes the chains have a tendency to break, and then you're just going around in circles. But I think yeah. But Phoenix. So. I will say, I do. If we have an award for highest flying bot, we definitely give it to Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Right to the ceiling. But
too bad that wasn't an actual hit, because that would have been my pick for John Reed. Good hit of the night.
yeah.
I have
any robot that hits the what?
Yeet.
Yeet. Yeah, and then Phoenix got flipped over again. And
Yeah.
And then were you Were you unable to self-ride? Was the disc broken, or you just couldn't get back up again?
It lost its belt.
Lost the belt.
Without the belt, the disc won't spin. If the disc is running, it would usually self-ride. I believe it actually did self-ride in the gear down for What Fight. And it did a few times in the test box, sometimes hitting the ceiling maybe. Not really the most elegant way or the most controlled way. But it sometimes does the job.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still. It was. I think the match lasted a bit longer than the first match. I think, but it was still. I still thought it was a solid spinner versus spinner fight. And in the end, there could be only one, and Splodeyboi ended up getting the KO and is the winner of Heat 2. Woo!
Yay!
We did it.
We did it.
I just want to thank Detonator for always believing in me. I want to thank Jonas for being the rival that I always knew I could have, and I want to thank
Oh, save your thank yous for when you inevitably win the whole thing.
I am saying nothing.
Yes, but yeah. So that covers Heat 2. Splodeyboi joins K2 in the grand final. And, on a scale of 1 to 10, last episode I gave a 7. I thought it was a solid opening. And this one I give I'm leaning between a 7.5 and an 8. But I think I'll lean towards an 8 because even though the matches were short, I thought there were a lot of good hits here and there. And some pretty fun moments and a real match of the year contender. So. I
lean the same way. I'm going to give this an 8. There were a lot of short matches, but I can't say that I wasn't entertained with them because we tend to not like short matches on this thing because they tend to be anticlimactic, and we really don't like one-hit KOs, but some of the KOs in this were just so good. Like, I'm sorry, Gareth, but I even have to applaud Phoenix's KO of Gear Down for What, just because of how precise that hit was. Gareth, you should have used a switch.
Actually, I don't know. I don't think your switches would take the amps I'm pulling. to be fair,
probably explode.
Yeah. The main trouble was putting the link on the outside of the robot. If I'd had the switch there, it would have also died.
Yeah, I just had to take the switch out of my my fairy weight ant weight because for whatever reason it keeps dying on me. So now I'm just using a direct plug. So, that's right. I have switched to links. I am now a link
converted.
And converters. So, since you guys were all in the show, there's no bias, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Reira, we'll start with you. How would you rate this episode?
A 12 because it had Ralf and Gareth on, and they're both lovely people.
Yes.
And me!
Gareth, how would you rate this episode?
It's also going to come high because there was a good amount of brushless in it, not only from me, but also Wayo, sorry.
I love that you're judging this entirely on the amount of brushless that's in anything. You just look. Is this all you do when you watch fights? Do you just sit there going, that's some delicious brushless?
I always root for the least number of brushes. So I'm going to give it
You're gonna
0 out of many brushlesses.
0 brushes out of 10.
You're
gonna love Ariadne.
Fully brushless. That's the rating.
I think Ariadne is fully brushless. So a fully brushless 800-gram ring spinner.
Oh boy. And Ralf, how would you rate this episode? How many brushes?
Yeah. Phoenix had 2 per motor, I believe. Per drive motor. I'd also say 7 out of 10. The fights were a bit short, but they were actually longer than I remembered them. At least my fights. And Gear Down for What versus Snappy was awesome. I couldn't watch it at the event itself. I heard great things about it, and it was fully living up to the expectations.
Yeah. Yep, so that pretty much covers Heat 2. And guys, it was great having you all on for this Christmas special. And next
they've officially released. They have released the roster for the next episode. By the way.
Yep. Alex Mordew returns with Saw Loser. We'll get Alex on next week, and we'll do a Q&A with him, since the last time we had him on, we really didn't ask him anything, unfortunately.
I'm most curious about Wide Boy.
Oh, that's
that thing looks incredible.
Yeah, very wide.
It is very wide.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, the widest.
Oh, really?
The widest of
Oh,
points.
come on. Reira, have you ever seen Smee?
I have, but I am just waiting for the day when Smee versus Wide Boy actually happens, and Alex Shakespeare turns up with like 3 arenas worth of fold-out beetle weight.
Good lord.
Well, I said I wasn't ready to laugh uncontrollably, and there it is.
Yeah. Yep, so we'll definitely looking forward to the next heat, and also Christmas, and hopefully everybody gets what they wanted on their list, and hope you all have a nice, safe Christmas, and beat up some bots, and do it all for the good of the season, because what holidays? There should be. I'm sure BattleBots have their own holiday, don't they?
Merry Botmas or something. I don't know.
Botmas, Bugglemas. So, hey, it was good having all you guys on. Any plugs? Any shout outs to anybody?
Sure. So other than Team Nelly and Transcendent Robotics being my own team that I do my own shit on, I am also from a podcast. I am one of the 3 hosts of the Extreme Scrutiny Club podcast. We just did our last major episode of the year, where we had Mr. Psycho, we had Mike on to talk about Robotica, which is now available on Spotify and YouTube if you look for Extreme Scrutiny Club or ESC podcast. And we are having an end-of-year roundup with our own little yearly awards soon.
Nice.
So, catch that. If you enjoy 3 really annoying people and sometimes some guests talk about how brilliant or terrible robots are.
I just started watching the Robotica one, and Tigerwood, hands down, the best Robotica bot.
I was so asleep for that episode. I kid you not.
Gareth, thank you for joining us. It's usually chaos here, and thank you for putting up with us.
Thanks for having us, having me.
Any plugs, any shout-outs?
Yeah, can I do a quick shout-out to Bristol Bot Builders? We got our Beetle event coming out on February 16th. Hope to see Reira and
Spin!
Ralf. I've got your name, Ralf. Ralf's there. I hope you're there, Ralf. But sign-ups are going up in January, so yeah.
Hype.
Yeah, if you couldn't make it into Motorama, you can always fly to England and do the Beetle Blade event there. And lastly, Ralf, any last words, plugs, shout-outs, anything?
Yeah, obviously my team page, Team 0815 Robots, then my teammates team page, Team Jonik, and also a little project I've been working on with some other people from the community, Team Jäger, our attempt to get into the next season of BattleBots.
Yes.
I want to fight you with Nelly.
I want to fight you too.
I'd book it.
Also, I feel like it's only fair, despite the fact I've spoken about him all episode, so I feel like that's kind of a shout out, but please go follow Team Zanbots, because Splodeyboi is made by Jeremy Hall, who is an amazing builder, an amazing driver, and like he deserves all of the credit for this episode and for our success. Honestly, it is his bot, and it was just an honor to be there.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. So until next time, I'm the Hardcore Kid.
I'm Otaku Nate.
I am Reira.
I'm Gareth.
And I'm Ralf.
Peace out, and it's Bugglebots time.
Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, ya pillock.